Welcome everybody to the 2013 webinar series for dentists, orthodontists, and other dental specialists. Tonight's subject is recall, and I'm sure you're all excited to hear more about this. Increasing patient appointment percentage. This webinar is brought to you by Procore CPA, the #1 choice for dental professionals. We specialize in tax planning, CFO consulting, and accounting. The reason why dental professionals choose Procore CPA is because we are proactive on getting our doctors to reach their financial goals. Where other CPAs tell you what happened, Procore looks at your history and works with you monthly or quarterly to tell you what you need to do. That in turn puts more money in our doctors' pockets and helps them sleep at night. Now let me introduce you to Rob Bay. Rob is a partner here at Procore CPA and works with dentists all over the country. With background in business and human development, he brings a light into the dental field. Rob also is a soccer fanatic, coaching one of his 6 kids. That's right, 6 kids. They are the 2013 champions of the President's Cup in Utah, a highly competitive state. He is excited to present this information on recall that has helped hundreds of dentists increase patient appointment percentage. Now take out your pen and paper, and if you have additional questions, we will answer those at the end of this webinar. So with no delay, Rob, are you there?
I am. Thanks, Curtis.
You're welcome. Take it away.
All right, great. Glad to have everybody on and participating in this webinar. Hopefully you've had a chance to participate in some of our others. We've had great webinars, helped a lot of offices and a lot of dentists to improve their financial situation. As Curtis mentioned, Procore at heart is a CPA firm. We work with physicians and dentists nationwide. 75+% of our clients that we work with are dentists, and we focus in being proactive regarding tax strategy, accounting information, practice information, all with the aim of putting the dentist in the best possible financial position. Most dentists are not maximizing what they can get out of their practice. So we help them put together plans and strategies, and the typical dentist that we work with, we literally make tens of thousands of dollars difference to them every single year in their pocket. So tonight, this webinar it will be focused on pre-appointing patients and minimizing cancellations. What is the best way to do that? Why is this something that even matters, or how is it this that even affects a dental practice or a dental office? So right off the bat, well, let me back up a little bit. Let me explain a couple things. One, I have a little bit of a cough, and so if I'm coughing, please forgive me. And 2, I want this to be a little bit more interactive. So I'm going to be asking you some questions and participate in polls and maybe write some things down that we can come back to that information a little bit later. So do what you can to be involved in those things so you get the most out of this. So Curtis, let's go to our very first poll question.
Fantastic. Thanks, Rob. So please get ready. The first question that we have is, what percentage of active patients have an appointment at your office? Once again, what percentage of active patients have an appointment at your office?
Now by an active patient, we mean somebody that's in your software that that you have seen or been visited at your office within the last 18 months. So we're looking for that percentage.
Let's give them just a couple more minutes here. People are still weighing in, and this is very indicative to the national average of what people say about their active patients. Rob?
Yeah, thanks, Curtis. We're going to get back to these results. So we'll give you a quick second to finish up if you're still answering. It looks like it's slowing down. But we'll get back to these results a little bit later. I want to back up a little bit from here and talk about why we're talking about pre-appointing patients, or why we're talking about minimizing cancellations or recall. one thing that we focus on quite a bit within our practice is helping dentists to be able to have a practice that's financially healthy. Most offices do not really know or understand how to measure if their practice is financially healthy. And if you don't know how to measure that, it's really difficult to actually get to that point of having it be financially healthy. And so in an effort to do that, I want you to write a few things down. If you know the answers to these, write these down, because we're going to come back to these things. The three things that I want you to write down is first, if you know how many active patients you have within your practice, just the number. Second one being, what were your collections in 2012? And third one being, what was the income of the dentist in 2012? If you're the dentist, that's going to be easier for you. If you're the office manager, that one may be a little bit more tricky. But if you have those three things, we'll use that information over the next few minutes to be able to help you to make a determination if your practice is financially healthy. The very first thing to look at in measuring if a practice is financially healthy is, what is the annual revenue or the total collections per active patient. And so in those numbers that you wrote down, if you look at your 2012 collections and you divide that number by your active patients, that should give you a number. The average that we come across is about $520, $530. What this tells me is usually in most practices they can increase or grow their practice another 50% without adding a single additional patient. If your number is less than 800, less than this target number, then that also tells me that there's things that are happening within your practice that you could focus on to be able to improve that number. The second thing to look at is the owner or the dentist takes home 45% of the collections. So again, if you take what the income was of the dentist and divide that by the 2012 collections, sorry, I'm making you do math here after hours, but that should give you a percentage. If the percentage is close to 45% or greater than 45%, then your practice in this area is financially healthy. If not, that also tells me that there's additional things that we could look at or look to be able to improve that. Sometimes it's an issue related to expenses. More oftentimes than not, it's an income related to, it's an issue related to the amount of collections or the amount of income. The third and final thing that we look at to measure is a little bit harder to quantify, and that is that the owner, the dentist, that their income and lifestyle is in balance. And really what we mean by that is the amount of income that they're making is sufficient, or the amount of income you're making is sufficient to be able to sustain yourself, meet your needs as well as your wants, and the amount of time and effort and energy and stress that you have within the practice is at a level that is sustainable for extended period of time, 20 years plus. So those are really the three key things to watch and measure. If you're in line with all three of these things, then you have a practice that's financially healthy. If not, then it tells me that there are some things that can be done to be able to improve that. The area, as we mentioned before, specifically that we'll be looking at is this area related to annual revenue per active patient, some of the things that contribute to that, and then specifically one of those things being pre-appointment or recall. So Curtis, let's go to this next section of polls here following this information.
All right, great. So these questions are going to be pretty quick. So please get out your clicker and help us with these poll questions. The first one, are you annually collecting an average of $800 per active patient? Once again, are you annually collecting an average of $800 per active patient? All right, just a couple more seconds there.
And again, just to recap, an active patient, someone you've seen in the last 18 months, and the annual collections, we're looking at collections rather than production.
Great. So let's go on to the next one here. The next one is, did you take home, let's see here, there it is. Did you take home 45% of your collections? This is for the doctors, obviously. This is not for the office managers. Did you take home 45% of your collections? Okay.
Again, sorry, Curtis. And again, to calculate this, you're taking that amount of the income of you, the dentist, or of the dentist, and dividing that by the annual collection.
Great. And then lastly, let's see here, is your lifestyle and income in balance? So is your lifestyle and income in balance?
Now this one is definitely harder to measure. This is more of a feel thing than an actual number. If you're the dentist and you feel like my stress level is low, I like the number of days that I'm working, the amount of income that I have is right in line with what I want and what I need, or if you're the office manager and your perception is that that's the case of the dentist, then you'd mark yes, and if not, then you'd mark no if you're not sure. As it seems like I guess I don't want to sway people, so I won't say. I'll leave that alone. Sorry, Curtis.
No worries, Rob. So I think we're about done there on that one as well, and we will review these towards the end as well, the polling results. But Rob, if you want to go ahead and get going, that'd be great.
Okay. Again, to recap these three critical things to be able to measure. If there are only three things that you're measuring, these are the things to measure. They're going to indicate if there are problems or issues, and let you know if everything that if your practice is financially healthy. Annual revenue per active patient, how much the owner takes from the practice, and then is the income and lifestyle in balance. We believe it's very important to measure things, to find these key areas, or these what we call key performance indicators, to watch and to measure. The reason why we feel it's so important is the things that you measure, ultimately you focus on, and those things that you focus on with some concerted effort, those things improve. There's a quote that I really like by Thomas S. Monson, and he says, where performance is measured, performance improves, and where performance is measured and reported back, the rate of improvement accelerates. So by measuring something, you'll have improvement, but by also having some accountability to somebody, that improvement is going to accelerate. Now, each practice, after measuring these things, is going to end up having their own unique key performance indicators. A prominent software company out there says that there's 390 some odd key performance indicators. There's really no way possible to measure that many things on an ongoing basis and have a handle on those. So our viewpoint is you should have about a dozen things that you're watching or monitoring on a regular basis, things that are either contributing to your success or things that will help to augment and improve your success. Some of these things, as you can see here on red, are some of these things that we'll be focusing on here today on this webinar. So to go back to this first item of the annual revenue per active patient, most people on the poll indicated that they either did not know or that the answer was no. That number is not in line. As I told you before, the average is about 520 or 530. And I've seen this number vary anywhere between $200 and $1,500. So there could be a pretty wide range, but the average is about 520 or 520, 530. If you go back and you actually look at your numbers and you look at your information, you find out that you're not on target. I want to point out to the 6 primary reasons why that might be. And our subject for today is one of these key reasons. These are the 6 things of what it could be. One is that you potentially could have an outdated fee schedule. Two, that you have a low reimbursement rate with your insurance providers. You have poor accounts receivable policies and procedures. The dentist is not identifying or presenting treatment, or they're not doing a good job in converting presented treatment into case acceptance. And then the last one is that active patients are not being pre-appointed, or they're not, or they're actually canceling. So a real quick summary on what to do in these things. If you find yourself with an outdated fee schedule, it's important to evaluate it and then increase that fee schedule as needed. Most dentists are reluctant to do this, but we find that having nominal increases are very rarely detected, or rarely are patients ever affected negatively or view this negatively. So it's something that should be evaluated and reviewed on a regular basis. If you feel that you have a low reimbursement rate from your insurance providers or insurance companies, which probably a lot of you feel that that's the case, you actually can negotiate that fee structure. We've seen and have many clients who have gone through that process and have been very successful in doing that. Actually, our last webinar that we put on was regarding negotiating your fee structure. Third thing is potentially that you have poor accounts receivable processes, and you need to take a look at that, see what's happening, and then improve your policies and your systems. Your CPA is somebody who should be able to help you out in doing that. Fourth thing is that the dentist or whoever else is involved is not identifying or presenting treatment. For some reason, they're reluctant to, but this is something that, again, is important to measure this percentage. In total visits, what's the percentage of potential treatment that we identify? Have a system for doing that, and then work towards improving it. Case acceptance rate. We've had webinars on this in the past. Again, this is something that's important to measure that rate and improve, work towards improving both the dollar amount and the percentage. And then lastly, the thing that we'll be spending more time on is active patients that are, the problem is they're not pre-appointed or they're canceling, and then what to do, we'll talk about it in a little bit more detail. Having these types of key performance indicators in place helps alleviate the stress and some of the anxiety of what's happening or what's going on within the practice. The dentist is able to be more relaxed, be more focused, able to go on for a longer period of time, be more clinically minded, and have to worry less about this side of things, of what's happening, why are we not where we're supposed to be, why am I not making the money I'd like to, why am I stressed out, why am I working more than I want to, all of those things. We take these types of indicators and we put them into a dashboard, something that's easy to see and monitor and look at a regular basis and be able to know this is where my case acceptance ratio is, or this is my case presented ratio, or this is my pre-appointment ratio. Having these things at a quick glance helps you to keep them at the forefront of your mind and be focused on these things. Again, as we go back to active patients that are not pre-appointed or canceling, in order to solve this, as you might suppose, one of the most important things is that this is something that we need to start measuring. We need to implement some systems and then work towards improving it. And so we'll talk more about how to do that. If we go back to the very first poll that we had, when we asked you what percentage of active patients have an appointment in your office, the largest two percentages were 36 to 50% and 51 to 70. What we find is the average dentist believes that they have between 60 to 70% of their patients pre-appointed. What we find in all actuality, once we look at their numbers, is the average really is 31%. It's actually just over 31%. The target that we're shooting for is 80%. The question is, why is this? What's happening? Why are they at 31%? There are really three main reasons, and this is where we get into why this is happening and then what to do about it. The very first reason as you might have guessed based upon everything we've talked about up to this point, is it is not being measured. Second thing is that there are not good systems in place to be able to improve it. And then the third thing is most people are going about this all wrong. And so I have a three-step process that I want to lay out here for you to be able to help you to improve this. So just a quick second here. As I mentioned, have a little bit of a cough, so I had to mute for a little cough break here. So the three-step process of what needs to be done to be able to improve this area or improve these things. And ultimately, this will help to contribute to improving where your annual collections are per active patient. The very first step is it needs to be measured daily. What you need to measure is the number of your patients that have a scheduled appointment. So you may look in your practice management software and you may find, okay, I have 1,000 patients in my software. And so we're staying true to statistics. We'll say I have 310 of those that have a scheduled appointment. This number needs to be measured and tracked on a daily basis, the 310. Every day that's going to change. It's going to vary. Now what happens at the beginning of the day today, you have 310. But you're going to be seeing however many patients you are, 10 to 100, whatever it may be, and those scheduled appointments are going to be gone. Those appointments need to be replaced as well as additional appointments beyond that to be able to have some type of improvement. So if you're at 310 and 15 patients you're seeing today, at the end of this day you're going to be at 295 unless you've scheduled more than 15 appointments. So watching and monitoring this and measuring this every single day provides the baseline, the very first step in being able to have some improvement in this area. The second thing that needs to be done is we need to identify where it is that we're being involved in scheduling appointments and then implement a system to be able to improve what we're doing. This is going to include patients that are scheduled for that day, what we do in situations where people call to cancel, what do we do when we're going through recall or recare to schedule patients who currently are unscheduled, and what are we doing with our technology, with our reminder systems. Evaluating these four areas are the things that we need to do. As we look at the area of patients that are scheduled this day or that day, obviously every patient who is there should be a system in place to be able to reschedule that patient. Where you do that, how you do that, who's involved with doing that, what it is that you're going to say, what it is that you're going to do. All of those need to be laid out and be crystal clear of who's involved and what they need to do to ensure that those things do not fall through the cracks. As it relates to cancellations, when somebody calls to cancel, most times what happens is an office will say, sure, we'll go ahead and cancel. When can you reschedule? Patient a lot of times says, oh, I don't know. I'll have to check my schedule, and then I'll get back with you. That patient ends up falling into the cracks, ends up disappearing down the road, or you're at a point where you're then chasing them to try to get that patient rescheduled. Having a system to be able to do what you can to minimize cancellations, and a lot of that as well goes to the way that those patients are scheduled to begin with, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Also, as you're going through your recall or recare to patients who are currently unscheduled, have a system related to that. One of the key things with this is it needs to be something that happens on a regular basis. Once you find and you look at your numbers and you find out, okay, we're at 31%, or we're at 29%, or we're at 50%, and I want to have some type of incremental improvement. It's not what happens unless you put in a system or a process to improve this. Everybody gets busy with their regular day, And when they get busy with their regular day, then there's no additional focus or attention that's put to this. And so we need to have people who are assigned. They need to be specific times about when they're going to be doing this, how many calls, how much time, what are their goals, what are their objectives, and have that be watched and monitored on a regular basis. And as we're doing that and measuring daily this statistic of what percentage of patients have a scheduled appointment, then you'll be able to improve that number. Also, a lot of practices utilize technology and they utilize reminder systems as a way to minimize cancellations and ensure that people come, as well as a way of bringing people back into the practice, or those who are unscheduled, or even possibly those who are not even active patients, back in to be scheduled and back to being active patients or being a scheduled appointment. Apologize again. The third step is the way that you go about this, the way that you do this. When you're scheduling somebody who's in your office, you may have a policy that every single person in our office, every single person who comes in is scheduled. And while that's a good goal, it may not be completely realistic. You have different kind of patients that come into your office. Some patients, you can make a scheduled appointment with them and they will come. Some, you'll make a scheduled appointment and with some prodding and some reminding they will come. And some you may make a scheduled appointment and they will not come. A key thing to be able to help to minimize that issue of no-shows or cancellations is what we suggest to our clients is ask the patient straight out. Are you the kind of person that if we make an appointment for 6 months in advance, that you can keep the appointment? If they say yes, then great. Not only do you know what kind of person they are, but they've now committed themselves that they're going to keep that appointment. And when that appointment comes along, they're going to remember, I told these people that I'm the kind of person that can keep this appointment. If they say no, I'm probably a lot better off if we just connect 5 months down the road and then get them scheduled. Then that's somebody that you're going to need to put back into your recall or your recare system to be able to connect with them at that time. In those situations with that type of person, I wouldn't necessarily schedule them a scheduled appointment. And that's why our target, as I mentioned before, is 80% rather than being 90% or 100%. The second thing that is critical in scheduling a solid appointment is that the date and the time of that appointment is on their calendar. Most patients, as I'm sure you know, utilize technology. They've got it right in their pocket. They have their calendar. Do everything that you can to be able to get that appointment on their calendar. Third thing, I'm actually going to skip the third and go to the fourth and come back to the third. Fourth thing is use technology to remind or reinforce. Reminder systems that are out there and readily available we have found to be well worth their money and will help significantly in reinforcing those appointments, reminding for those appointments, giving them option to be able to put those right on their calendar and help them to ensure that they're there. The last thing, and this is why I say that most offices go about doing this all wrong, is that appointment in the mind of the patient, the purpose of that appointment needs to be benefit-centric. Most of the time when we're scheduling an appointment, it's about what is it that we're going to do? What is it that we're going to provide rather than how is this appointment going to benefit this patient? If you've participated in any of my webinars before, you know that I'm a strong believer that patients will act for you for 5 reasons. These 5 reasons are profit, pain loss, preservation, prestige, and pleasure. All of these are benefit to a patient. So when scheduling an appointment, it's not, hey, Mr. Jones, we're going to schedule you to come in here for a cleaning. The reason that they're coming is something that's benefit-centric to them. they've already mentioned that they care about their smile and upkeeping their smile. And so we may say, Dr. Jones, in order to ensure that you maintain or keep your beautiful smile and minimize problems, we're going to have you come in at this point or at this time. Same thing when you use your technology systems. You have a notice or a little note that goes out. Again, implement and include things that are benefit-centric, things that why the patient will come, not what it is that we're going to do once the patient comes. In doing that, now they have a reason to come that helps them or benefits them rather than just, in their mind, benefits you. And the likelihood of them canceling those appointments will go down significantly. The likelihood of them showing up for those appointments will go up significantly. So again, this three-step process, and we're just gone through this at surface level, very high level, but the important aspect is to measure daily, to implement a system to be able to improve, and then make sure that you have solid scheduled appointments. Having these appointments, again, that are where you know that they say they're the kind of person who can do that the time and the date is on their calendar and is benefit-centric, will help them to come and make sure that that's a solid scheduled appointment. I don't know if you've ever missed an appointment. Maybe it's something you had scheduled on your calendar. Maybe it's something you were well-intentioned in going to. Maybe it's going to get a haircut, or who knows what it may be. But a lot of times, if something better comes along, whether that's out here, going skiing with some friends, or golfing, or whatever it may be, something different, the easy thing to cancel is that appointment where you don't value the benefit. By making that appointment benefit-centric, they'll be far more likely to keep those appointments. When doing these things, it doesn't have to be weird. It doesn't have to feel awkward. It helps to simplify this process and makes patients more likely to come and participate in your practice. We see so many practices that put all this time and effort into new patients, and they have umpteen new patients that are coming into their practice every single month. But what happens is these practices are static. Their collections are the exact same, or within a very small range year after year. Their income is static year after year. And reason being is they're adding all these patients, which should equal all this new revenue, but all those patients are, however many patients they're adding, that many are falling out the back. By implementing these types of systems and processes, you'll experience real growth within the practice, and you'll increase the amount of collections per active patient. It will help to be able to keep and retain patients instead of them ending up going somewhere else or just falling by the wayside. So again, just to kind of recap, these three important things to be able to watch and measure are annual revenue per active patient. Watch and measure that, at least look at that on a monthly basis. Even if you take the $800 and divide it out by the 12, and we're looking for $66.67 in monthly revenue per total active patient, that the owners take is 45% of the collections, and that the income and lifestyle is in balance. By watching and measuring those things, it will help you to know what it is you need to do to be able to have a practice, that's financially healthy. So with that, Curtis, I'm going to bring it back to you to kind of get this all wrapped up, and I thank you all very much for participating and being involved in this webinar.
Thanks, Rob. That was fantastic information. If you guys felt the same, please feel free to raise your hand on this software right in front of you. This is amazing principles that are utilized As Rob said, we've talked about these same principles before, and we're now implementing them on recall. These are information that we can use in every part of our lives. In fact, these are stuff that we use here at Procore. These same type of philosophies of tracking, of measuring, of making sure that we have the right systems and that we're following through with those to put our doctors in a better financial position. Unlike any other CPA, Procore is proactive. So, with that, I want to offer those that are on the call a free 60-minute consultation for the first 10 dentists. Feel free to go ahead and call or text me on my cell phone there, or you can call in toll-free or email me to set up that appointment. If you're an office manager and you want to succeed, you want to implement these things, set up an appointment with your doctor to have this consultation with us. There's no obligation, no pressure. It is a total consultation to evaluate the practice and find ways to put the office in a better financial position. We hope you enjoyed it. Please attend our next one. It'll be in a couple weeks, and we'll make sure to send that information out to you. If you would like to make sure to attend that next webinar, feel free once again to email me or give me a call. This is Curtis Marshall and Rob Bay. We hope you guys had a fantastic webinar. Thank you.
Hey, one last thing I wanted to add is there's a few people who've been asking some questions on the sidebar. I know you probably can see that over on the side if you have some questions. Any questions that you have that you want us to answer specifically, whether that's related to your practice or about any of this material or anything in general, feel free to be able to ask a question or chat us sidebar there. Thanks.